Here we are, another week. Welcome back to Bored to Death, the podcast where I try not to speak about Avril Lavigne for 50 minutes of my life. For this one, I'm really excited. We've got three people that I think everyone's going to know or know of. We've got Ross, Cash, and Brandon with us. How are you guys feeling?
Good.
Nervous?
Little? No, never.
Nah, it'll go. So, just to start every episode, just to get a little bit comfy, what we do is just kind of like get to know you. I know we have seen a lot of you guys on Instagram, and people obviously know you in real life and the community, but just to get to know you a little bit more. Anyone want to start? Raise your hand.
I guess me. Cash was pointing at me, so I guess I'll start.
Cool. Where did it all begin for you, Brandon? Do you remember getting your first skateboard? How did you get into skating? Like, take it back to the very beginning.
Well, I'd say I'm very much a product of the Tony Hawk video game. I started skating 2001, right around then. I don't remember exactly like where I got into skateboarding. I had a neighbor that had a skateboard, so we would ride that around, but it was mostly like just playing the Tony Hawk video game and thinking it was really cool. And then I had an older brother that he was kind of like, he didn't really skate, but he was like into the kind of skate culture a little bit. So he had like skate magazines and stuff that I'd always look through. And I was like, I think what really drew me into it was like the art, like graphics on skateboards and stuff like that kind of pulled me in at first. And then I started riding my neighbor's skateboard, and I think Christmas 2001 was when I got my first board, and it was like the Christmas complete. Like I remember going to like, it wasn't a skate shop. I went to like Zoomies and like picked it out, and it was like the Chad Muska board that was in the Tony Hawk game, the Shorties board with the rising sun and everything. And I thought it was sick. And so that's kind of where it all began. And then just met people that skated. And
did it just kind of like all flow from there? Or like when you went to like high school, did you drop out, or did it ever kind of go away, or were you just always skating?
Yeah. So from when I started up until 19, that was the only like lull. So I obviously, you can tell from my accent, I'm not Scottish, right? I'm from America, and I'm from Utah, and I grew up Mormon. And when I was 19, I went and served a Mormon mission, or like an LDS mission. If you know anything about that, like the guys go off to somewhere for like 2 years and you do that. And so that was like, I have this blank space of skateboarding from those 2 years that I know nothing about skateboarding. That's 2009 to 2012. I know absolutely nothing about skateboard history in that period because I was in Mexico not skateboarding and teaching people about Jesus.
I think in my opinion, that's the best skateboarding that there ever has been.
I know, right? And then I came back in 2012, and I didn't really have a lot of friends that skated when I went to college, and they were all into rock climbing. So I got into rock climbing, and then I think I got back really into skateboarding around 2014. So yeah, I guess I had like a good like 4 years that I didn't skate or didn't know anything about it. And when I came back into it, I was full force.
Cool. Yeah. And then just like 2014 to
2014 till present.
Cool.
Yeah. And I've just been really heavy on it, more so maybe than I was when I was a kid. Yeah, it's different.
What about you, Cash? Same question. Where did it all start?
Like Brandon, a lot of it is the Tony Hawk games as well, and then watching videos on the Extreme Sports channel.
Yeah.
So I watched the Blind What If video on the Extreme Sports channel, and every single time it was on, I just watched it. I didn't know anyone else that skateboarded, so I wanted a skateboard, but we couldn't really afford much. So 1 year on my birthday, my mum gave me, I think it was £30. So I didn't have enough money to get a bus into town to buy a board. So I walked into town and then I bought a cheap complete from Argos.
Is it the one with the aliens?
It had a car on it, a yellow sports car on it. So that was the only one that I could get. So I bought that, and then I walked back home, and then it's the ones where the shrink wrap is under the hardware as well. So you have to undo the hardware to take all the wrap off.
Mine's like that as well.
And then I started skating. I didn't know anyone else that skated. So the first 3 years, I think, that I skated by myself. And so it wasn't until I was later teen that I met other people that skated and started skating with them.
And it's just kind of continued from your late teens. Cool. Ross, over to you, same question.
Yeah, I started when I was like 10. I had a cousin that was like really into it. He was good. Yeah, Tony Hawk through him. But then I was kind of lucky because he already knew about skating. So we would go to like, I got my board from like actual skate shop. So yeah, it's like Route 1 on Roll Snakes, which controversially might not be a real skate shop. But there you go.
And is it just like for you the same, like since you got into it, you've never fallen out of it?
Nah, I just like it more and more.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
never stopped.
Like there's never been like a gap, like I think from the guys I spoke to before, and like me, either went to high school and I was like studying and I got a boyfriend or a girlfriend, then we started drinking and I went to uni and I kind of forgot about it, and then I got back into it later. So it's nice, it's cool to hear, I guess.
Yeah, well, I'm from the lakes, so it's kind of like there wasn't much good skating there anyway.
Yeah.
So, but there was always like a good scene, so we would all travel like quite a lot and go down to Manchester, Leeds, and stuff like that. I was like always focused on like moving to the city to do it more. So I figured like you could kind of just do everything as well.
Yeah, it's so weird that everyone here has said like the Tony Hawk's thing. It's like a moment in time.
Yeah.
Everyone that was connected to that, I guess from like, I think the first one came out in 99, was number one, and then it was like annually until I think maybe like 2007 or 8. But just like in that like less than 10 years, like it just kind of like created like a generation of people. And there's people that have like came in of it, people went back out, then come back in. But it's just really cool, I think. And last week we were speaking about, and I was speaking to Brandon about this earlier, is the remaster that came out like during lockdown, the Tony Hawk's 1 and 2 remaster. Like it just kind of like lit like a fire under people's asses of like, oh my God. And they done such a good job of it with like the levels just being like not completely reimagined. They were just kind of like,
Yeah, like a certain bit of nostalgia is still there.
Yeah.
That's like you kind of remember like why you were interested in the first place. You know, it just kind of drew back to all that.
yeah, and it was just so cool seeing it in today's graphics. And another thing from that's obviously the soundtrack, like that's lived on, that's became like a whole thing in itself, and each game had its own soundtrack. And I was saying to Brandon again, it was so cool when they done the remaster that it was all the original songs, but they'd added in like some current ones, just to kind of like get more people into it, like the kind of renaissance resurgence of skate that's going on. And now there was like Machine Gun Kelly and some kind of like later noughties bands like Billy Talent. Like it was cool that they kind of like honored.
Yeah, honored the nostalgia of it, but appealed to like this generation.
What are they called again? Gen Z?
Gen Z. Yeah,
Gen Z. That's what they're called.
Well, you can say Z if you want.
No, sorry, it's Gen X. I was getting confused with last week. I was calling people Gen X and they were like, no, that's...
I don't know.
So at this point in the show, what we do is we do 10Q, which is 10 questions. Actually, it's only 9 today, because some of them just were not well received. So I just edited them the fuck out. So I'm just going to go round. These aren't designed for any of you guys. It's just very random, but we'll just start at the start. Brandon, what's your favourite place to skate in Scotland?
I mean, for me, I haven't been to many places.
I was like the wrong person to ask.
But so far, honestly, it's been the ledges at Clydeside. Everybody, when I first skated there, everybody's like, oh yeah, there's these ledges. The ledges are really good, but it's like not really like, people were trying to tell me that it wasn't that great of a spot for some reason or another. But I was like, this is a perfect spot. When I went there, I was like, what are you talking about? This spot is absolutely perfect. So that's been probably my favorite place that I've skated, is Clydeside Ledges so far.
Absolutely nobody else likes it there.
See, I don't understand that.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, they're good.
Yeah.
Whenever people visit, they love Clydeside, but a lot of people here don't want to go to Clydeside.
I think it's so funny. They're so
love
perfect.
Clydeside.
Yeah.
Cash, what trick were you most proud to get the first time you got it?
Switch boneless.
Can you still do it?
He does it phenomenally too.
Daily?
Whenever I skate, yeah.
Good. Ross, favourite album of all time? Start to finish, track to track.
That's easy. Funeral, Arcade Fire.
Oh, that's classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Brandon, back to you. Favourite place you've ever skated?
Oh man, that's a really tough one. You know, I'm gonna throw it to my hometown. Not my hometown, but my home state. Like, Utah is a hidden gem. Like, there's so much there, and people don't know about it or sleep on it. And I honestly, like, for skating as long as I haven't skated like a ton of places, but it's, you know, now that I'm here too, and I think back on a lot of the spots I skated in a lot of places, it's actually got a lot to offer. And so I think honestly, Utah is still one of the best places I've skated. Even though I grew up skating there, it's pretty good.
No, I feel like when I've asked that question to people before, it's always been they've always said it was a skate park that they started skating on.
Yeah. Oh, my skate park was terrible, but Utah in general is great.
Your skate park was still better than skating Glasgow, though.
No.
Well, see,
Wouldn't go that far.
That's good. Cash, this is my favourite question, by the way. So, pressure.
Right.
What's the best fast food restaurant?
Oh, this is such a good question for Cash.
Now, 2 people in the first 2 episodes have said my favourite one, so I'm waiting for a hat trick.
What's your favourite one?
I can't tell you that. I'll ruin everything.
Please tell me.
No.
If it's the one that I used to love, I won't say that one because I don't love it anymore.
Do it.
Cajun fries from Five Guys.
Oh. What was your one?
It's Taco Bell.
Oh, come on.
Is that the one?
No.
Okay, good.
I think because I'm veggie, like I don't think Five Guys do a lot.
Taco Bell actually does kill it on veggie options.
Yeah,
to
like
be fair.
there's a lot of like stuff I get. Like, but see Five Guys when I did eat meat, like I used to love a Five Guys burger. Like,
I only get Cajun fries from Five Guys.
Cash is vegan, so
well, I need to try them. Obviously, it's going to step further than me.
Yeah,
I need to try it.
they're good.
Ross, I feel like you're getting all the music ones now. What's the best gig you've ever been to?
Andrew WK.
Which one?
Yeah, I was going to say, do you remember what year?
Was it Classic Grand?
Yeah.
When I saw you and your brother.
Yeah.
I was also there and it was amazing.
It was a smash hit.
I've seen Andrew WK live 3 times.
Did we talk?
Yes.
I might have been like really drunk that I don't remember that because I don't remember seeing Cash there.
Okay, Brandon, if you could have skated in any decade, which one would it have been?
If I could have, or if I did,
No, if you could have, like, if you could have been the age you are now and skated in any decade.
I would go back to when I started skating, like that. I think the era from like 2000 to about 2007-ish was.
That's for me as well.
Yeah, it was
Literally.
just like there was, I don't know, there's something, and maybe it's just the nostalgia in me for that time, but there was something happening in skateboarding that I just miss.
Yeah.
That's not present now. I don't know what exactly it is.
That's called old age.
No.
Yeah, I don't know, but it just seemed like skateboarding was so like I looked at it so new, maybe because I was new to it, but I don't know. It was there was something about that era that was just really unique.
Yeah, no, I said the same. I said the same on the first episode. I said, like, I first started getting into it in 2001. It was just that kind of quote from the first episode. Like, just that era where, like, Blink were big and Linkin Park had come out and everyone had the hoodies and the studded bracelets, and it was just such, like, again, it might be nostalgia. Like, nostalgia is a very powerful thing, but it was just that era.
Well, and I think too, it's like a lot of it has to do with just like there wasn't the exposure to skateboarding that there is now. Like it used to be exciting in that time to like watch skate videos, and I like anticipated skate videos coming out and like seeing all that, and that's kind of dissipated a little bit just with how things have advanced. And so I don't know, I feel like I was really, really in tune with skateboarding at that time. So if I had my skill now, I would absolutely go back then.
Cool. Cash, what's your favorite country that you've ever visited? Didn't have to skate, just favorite country you've ever been to.
Morocco.
Ooh, cool.
Any reasons why? Culture, food?
My sister's husband is from Morocco, and that's where she met him when she went on holiday there. So her wedding
cool.
was in Morocco. So that's why.
That's cool. That is cool. I've never been. I'd like to go.
It's amazing. I was only there for a weekend, but I'd like to go again.
Maybe you should get them to get married again and invite us.
Cool.
I'll ask them.
And Ross, back to you, but this question is going to be opened up to everyone because I really like this question. Actually, this is my favourite question. Fuck the fast food. This is my favourite question. Who's your favourite skater? All time. Or if you don't want to do all time, we can do like presently, like this is who I love.
I don't know. I haven't had a favourite for a little while. I liked Max Yuchu. During that time, he was like killing it. Then I got bored of it.
Did he stop killing it?
No,
When did he stop killing it, Ross?
He overkilled it.
He overkilled. Yeah, that's fair.
Because then it gets boring.
Yeah,
but at the
right.
time, there's like when he had the habitat part.
Yeah.
That one.
I was gonna say you're talking about our skater of the year here. Saying he's not killing it anymore.
He shouldn't have had Skater of the Year. He overkilled it. He went too far.
Yes.
What about you, Cash? Same question.
Can I say 2 people?
No.
Absolutely not. Kidding on, of course.
Ketlin James and Mike V.
Nice. Oh, is it me?
Yeah.
I won't be embarrassed when you say me.
I'm reluctant to say you because I don't want you to know how much I like you. But no, if I have to say all time, I always stick with the same, and that's P-Rod. Like I just growing up watching him, and I think it's because as a Mexican American, I felt like I looked like P-Rod and I wanted to skate like P-Rod when I was a kid, and that was really influenced me. And still to this day, he just kills it. And he's not necessarily someone that I continually pay attention to right now, but I think he's had the biggest influence on me, the way I skate and just skateboarding in general.
Cool.
So, yeah.
I actually don't know if I have said mine on it. Apologies to our wonderful listeners if I'm repeating myself from last week, but mine is Brian Anderson.
Nice.
It
Good
always
choice.
was for a very long time, and then obviously when he came out, I was just like, okay, I'm fucking obsessed with you. I'm obsessed with you. I remember the Thrasher Skater of the Year cover in '99.
Yeah.
And then I remember that image, and then when I started getting back into skateboarding again, I tried to look for that issue, the Skater of the Year 1999 issue, and it was impossible to find on eBay. I couldn't get it. I just wanted to get it to put it in a nice frame. And then one day I was on Depop selling my old shit because I was skint, and then it literally came up Thrasher 1999, the cover on a t-shirt for £20, and I was like, oh my god, it just felt so good. And I'm waiting for the right moment to wear it, but it's still hanging up. It was just such a stellar moment. And honestly, when he came out and everything, he did he did his epically latered before he came out, and then he did was it that did that?
Was it through Vice?
Was it Vice?
Yeah,
it's
Vice,
Giovanni
yeah.
And then I watched that, and I was just like, whoa, I love you even more, for obvious reasons. But yeah,
What was the cover?
Was it the?
it was
Hub
him
Hideout?
sitting on a chair.
That's his Sodi cover.
Oh,
Nah, it was the Thrasher cover.
yeah.
It's just him kind of sitting in a chair. He's got a red t-shirt on. This is me googling the image, by the way.
It's the one they've put all the graphics over him.
Yeah, that's one.
I know the one. Yeah. I know
Right.
the one.
Oh, right.
That one. And then for Thrasher's 500th issue in March, they did a piece on him. It was okay, well, they did it for a lot of people that have been in the magazine, but it was cool to see him.
That's cool.
So for this episode, this is the first episode when we've kind of opened up to our listeners to kind of send some questions in to be answered by our guests. So Ross, this is a question from you, from Stuart.
But do they know who the guests are?
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
These people have all been on. Actually, I think there's two that haven't, but all the other ones are people that have been on. So I'm just informing them who's coming on, and then we're just going to do it for the next episode,
okay.
give you questions for them. So Ross, this is a question from Stuart. Do you feel like you've earned pro status in skating? Because many pro skaters, when they say they turn pro, they feel that they still haven't earned it as they haven't peaked yet.
Nah, nobody's earned it though. It's I don't know. It's an honor. Obviously, I'm really happy about it, whatever, and it's it's rad. But does anyone really deserve to get paid for playing with a toy? Do you know what I mean? So whoever deserves that, do you know?
Yeah.
So, but then if it comes your way, sick.
Yeah, 1,000%. This is from a different Stuart. This is for Cash. Cash, what are your main priorities this year with filming and putting out new videos?
Putting them out.
Oh, really? Just that? Okay. Fair enough. Brandon, this one's for you. What motivates you when it comes to finding motivation when you're skating on your own?
What motivates me? I'm kind of a spot hunter in a way. I'll go home and I'll get on Google Earth and I go look around and I'll find spots. So that's the biggest motivation. I'm always interested in finding some new spot. And so I think the spot itself will motivate me to go skate on my own. Cause if I can find a good spot, on Google Earth or something, I'll be out there and I'll be looking at it. And if it's skatable, I'll go skate it. I don't necessarily like skating alone, to be fair. I love skating in a group, but if I can find a spot that's new and fresh, then I'll go check it out on my own. And if it's skatable, I'll go skate it.
Oh, that's fair. That's good. Ross, this is a question for you from Mary Jane. How do Scottish skate parks compare to other skate parks around the UK or even the rest of the world that you've skated in? And what do you think the Scottish skateboarding scene needs more of right now?
It's good in Scotland. There's skate parks everywhere. That was always good. Because when I grew up, there was we didn't have a skate park for about 5 years, and then it was shit. And then we got a good one, but that was about it. So then the ones down in England, like Southern England and stuff, are like really high quality, but it's good in Scotland how there's like so many. There's kind of like skate parks everywhere. And then I guess maybe we need some good ones to add to the add to the list.
Okay, like, see if you guys could, and I'll open this up to everyone, see if like, yeah, we'll do it because we're in Glasgow. See if Glasgow City Council came to you and be like, right, we're going to build a skate park. We know you guys are in the community. Where would you put the skate park? An outdoor skate park?
Well, there's like been talk for years about the one under the motorway. That one would have been good.
Glasgow needs an equivalent of South Bank.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Something covered.
Yeah, that's what we need.
And
With
Kelvin
lights.
Grove is pretty poor.
Yeah.
Considering like the size of Glasgow, it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
it should have like something really good. Loading bay's good, but it's obviously really new and like privately owned.
Yeah, like I was surprised, like obviously when I first started getting back into the start of the pandemic, that at that point, I think it was like March 2020, like the loading bay wasn't that old. So I was like, what happened? Like where was there? Like indoor for all that time? Like was everyone just going down to unit?
And East Kilbride.
Yeah.
Okay. Brandon, this is for you from Nathan. Advice, how do you keep kickflips consistent?
I think like with a basic trick, like a kickflip or just something that you should, as you progress in skateboarding, something that you should be able to do regularly. Like something that I do is if I'm trying like a harder trick, I had a kid ask me this actually at the loading bay the other day, because I think I was trying to back feeble flip out on the long flat bar, but when I was approaching it, I would always kickflip over the bar first and then come around and do it. And he was like, what? And I wasn't landing it obviously, but he was like, what, do you have to do the kickflip? And I was like, no, but like, I think it's that. It's like, if I know I can do a kickflip on approach to like something that I'm actually trying to learn, I'll always try to like throw one of those tricks in there, because that does help with consistency and just knowing that you can land it. So I don't know. I'll just throw it in when I'm trying more difficult tricks, right? Like on approach.
Yeah.
And I think that does help, because it's something that you're confident enough that you can land, and you're going to get better at it each time that you do it to get to this other trick.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, pretty stellar advice. Cash, back to you. This is from George. Hands down, what's your favourite piece that you've ever filmed?
It's not been seen yet.
Oh,
Really?
something to look
Yes.
forward to.
Genuinely? That is there something?
Is
to
that
look
better
forward
than
to?
Shug Life? 4+1, whatever it is.
It always changes.
Oh, okay, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair. That's better than like having your favourite piece and then nothing ever comparing to it.
Yeah, you can't think like that. Well, I can't think like that.
No.
It's always going to be better every time. But that doesn't mean the thing before is less than the
Less
thing now.
than. Yeah. No, that's fair.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're on to our topic of the day for this episode. Now, topic of the day is gatekeeping. Now, I can't be alone here. See, literally before, like I would say maybe 5 or 6 years ago, I had never heard this term. Like having heard the term, I understand what it is, and I've always known what essentially the act is. But the term, like I had actually never heard
Right.
for like, well, before I would say like 2016, 2017. So I've pulled something from online, which just on Google, the definition, gatekeeping is the activity of controlling and usually limiting general access to something. So do you guys think in general there has been noticeable gatekeeping within skating, or there currently is gatekeeping within skating?
Yes.
Kashif is the main gatekeeper for Glasgow.
Yeah.
Definitely.
He's basically Glasgow's security guard for skateboarders. They don't get past him. I don't know. I think like it's weird because I have like these two minds, because when I was a kid, like I feel like thinking back on like me skating when I was a kid, I think I was like a little shithead, and I was definitely like the kid that was like, I would call myself a gatekeeper, right? Or somebody that was just like, talking shit on other people because of, what they were skating or how they were dressing or doing this. And I feel like that was very prominent, and it's like regrettable. Sometimes I think about like some of the things that I would have said to other people, like when I was a kid, because I thought I was cool as a skateboarder. As like an adult now, like it's harder for me to notice. Like I don't notice it within myself as much. I don't notice it within like the skate community I'm around, but maybe it's because I skate around like older people. I think sometimes I see it with little kids more than older people, but I don't know. Like it definitely exists in different forms. Yeah, I don't know. we're in a different time.
I kind of like hating stuff like a lot, but then that doesn't mean that like I actually dislike stuff. So I'll definitely like rip on my friends for like being a certain type of skater or whatever. But that doesn't mean like in actual practice I really think that.
Yeah, like it's
so then I sometimes kind of worry that maybe like people would see me that way, but actually I just like don't care at all.
But I think the difference too is like you would only do that like amongst your friends, right? People that you knew. You would never go to like some random kid and like just be like, hey, like you can't be wearing that shirt because that's not what skateboarders do, right? Like we talk shit amongst our friends like all the time. Like I basically in a group chat with my friends back home that all we do is talk shit about skateboarding and skateboarders, and we talk shit about each other. And it's just like that's just us being friends. Like it's kind of weird.
But it's kind of part of the fun, even though like
but it's not serious.
Nah, you know, but like it's good that there's like so many different types of people. Right. It's quite fun to like.
Don't know. It's kind of weird.
We all have to be able to make fun of each other, but you are not allowed to do that if you can't make fun of yourself.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
right,
no, that's a good one. Yeah, I think like as you guys were saying, like it's the line where like doing it with your friends is one thing, but then someone walks into the park and you say something to your friend about that person, about why they shouldn't be skating or the way they're doing it, and it's just like that's like for me personally, that's not the way it is, but for me that's where I'm like that is.
Yeah, it's wrong.
Borderline gatekeeping.
Yeah.
Like, there was loads of examples when I was doing reading for this episode, and it was just like guys talking about like our girl walks into a skate park herself with a Thrasher hoodie, and it's just like she's a poser, she's here for Instagram pictures, like it's just like the aesthetic or the vibe she's going for. When in reality, like that girl could have been like really trying to get the confidence up to come here, by the way, like and do it for herself.
Kind of the way I think about it too now is it's like skateboarding's in a whole different place now than it was a few years back.
Like, see, when you say a few years back, do you mean literally like a few years back?
No, it means like 20.
No, honestly though, but like even like a few years back, like just thinking about how much things have changed, and I think skateboarding is becoming more accepting than it, you know, we've always had this blanket of saying skateboarding accepts everyone and all that, but I don't think that's been true for a long time. And I think it's starting to be more true. I think things definitely are changing in the right direction. But one thing that I, you know, with kind of that example that you're given is skateboarding has become, whether you like it or not, much more of like a spectacle and a sporting event where it's like, if I saw somebody wearing a Thrasher shirt or something, and I, as a high school teacher, I saw a bunch of my students come in with Thrasher shirts and I knew they didn't skate, but it's like, if you look at them as more of just like fans of it, you know, it's not so weird. Like people wear like shirts of football teams and things that they like anyway. It doesn't mean they play the sport. Right?
Yeah, no, that's actually a good way to look at it.
People don't realize that a lot of their favorite skateboard companies wouldn't survive if only skateboarders bought the product.
Yeah,
that's very true of Thrasher as well.
Do you not think as well sometimes there's like a line where people sometimes maybe think people are gatekeeping if they're like new to it, but they go somewhere, but it's like just an intimidating place to enter. So I think, not that I'm saying it doesn't exist, but some like if I was to go to South Bank now, even with my experience, I'm like intimidated.
Oh, same.
So if you like show up to somewhere, I don't know, yeah.
I get nervous every time I go to a new skate park. I've been skating for 20 years. Like literally every time I go to a new skate park, it doesn't matter like what the park's like. I get nervous. Like, I don't know if you feel that way, but it's like,
yeah, I feel the same.
There's a certain like, I don't know. It's just like feeling like you're not like the local. Like there is a certain local vibe no matter where you go. And I always get nervous.
I get nervous in loading bay if like I get there and I don't know anyone.
That happens all the time.
That's big to hear from you, like genuinely. Like I was saying like the other week, like the first time that I got up the balls to do it and it took so long to go with someone to the loading bay, I was like, just before I was going, I was like, I can't do this. Like the nerves were just like, I actually think the nerves that day were worse than the nerves the day I started this podcast. Like just getting in there and being like, oh, like everyone's looking at me like I've got a fucking helmet on, I look like a tit, I'm going to fall off of this. Like it just wasn't good. But in the same reality, there's people in there that are not giving a shit what I'm doing. Like they're just focused on their own game. Like they're just going with it. So I think there's a lot of it that's in your head. I'm not saying gatekeeping doesn't exist, because it does, but I'm just saying like a lot of it is you maybe self-doubting.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of that, I think. And then I think you've got to remember as well, if you're a beginner, you got to remember that like guys who go there all the time will keep an eye on you to just like not take you out. Because you've got to kind of keep your eye on like beginners and stuff, because you know they're not like confident, they don't know the like sort of like the etiquette, I guess. So you just got to keep an eye to make sure you don't like, You don't want to hurt anyone.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. And that's more what it is too. I think sometimes it's like you're just very aware of what's going on. Like,
No, it's valid points. Going back to what you were saying, Brandon, about like skateboarding changing, that's why I asked when you said like in the last couple of years. I think last week we're kind of speaking about, or everyone on the show was saying that they have felt a change, and that was people that have been skating for years, that they have in the last couple to few years. And when I say that, I say like 2 to 3, like have noticed like a shift in the whole community. Would you guys agree with that?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
But that's because of wider society. So skateboarding follows whatever is happening in society. So in the last few years, society has changed the way that it markets. So skateboarding followed suit. That's what I feel about it. Because skateboarding is a business, just like everything else. So they're going to market in the same way as businesses outside of skateboarding are going to market. So that changed through the lockdowns. And so skateboarding followed.
I mean, like other things through the lockdowns, like things like Black Lives Matter and things like that. Well, I'm not going to say things like that. I'm going to say Black Lives Matter. Like, do you think that had, or do any of you guys think like social things like this or cultural movements like this have effect on skateboarding or just race in skateboarding?
Completely.
Yeah.
Because people always forget that you're the same person on your board as you are off your board. So whatever you bring into skateboarding, that's from your life, you're bringing that into skateboarding. So when the Black Lives Matter movement kicked off again, skateboard companies changed the way they marketed because they knew that people were not going to let up on them.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I noticed that more with fashion companies, like see on Instagram and social media, like the models they were using.
Yeah, it was all false.
Oh, 1,000%, 1,000%, 1,000%. But that's what I was kind of getting to. Like at that time, like I am like whoever the fuck I am, but like even I was noticing, and I was like, "But you were not doing that 2 months ago. Like you should have been."
Like you're seeing like
but
some
you weren't.
Jack Wills skateboarding thing, or so. I see that all the time on Instagram. It's like skateboarding so integrated into just like fashion now. You'll see an ad with that is completely outside of skateboarding, but for some reason they just popped a skateboard in there next to some shoes or some trousers or something like that. It's like it's definitely got an influence there.
Do you think, in regards to girls or females skateboarding, like there's gatekeeping within that from men?
Yes. Just like in everything outside of skateboarding.
Yeah.
So it doesn't change in skateboarding. So if you treat people a certain way outside of skateboarding, you're going to treat them the same way in skateboarding.
Yeah.
Pretty open though, I think. Like it's been pretty good. I think it's not going to be like a massive amount of people that are like against any of that sort of a change. That's all like positive stuff.
Yeah.
But it probably is like what Cash said, like down to like, I guess like social things that have meant like all companies are like now advertising towards women and stuff because it's become more acceptable for women or gay people or whatever, you know, like it's become more accepting outside of skateboarding. Then skateboarding is using advertisement to bring those people in. And it's not like, I don't think it's like unwelcome in skateboarding, but that's probably what's boosted the numbers like so quickly.
And a lot of the gatekeeping is online. It's not in real life.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
So people need to differentiate those things.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I was just saying to Brandon before we come in here, it was like the comment section, like it's just like one of the like fucking buzzkills. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I just like, and I said to you, like, it's a cliche to say, oh, I don't go on the comments, but like, I do try with certain things to be like, I'm not even reading.
Yeah, but that's just like, and that's just like internet trolls in general, because half the time, like, and I hate it, but I love like reading into these comments and just like start diving down and just seeing what random shit people are saying, because it's so like, I don't know, it's just so baffling to me that people have this like need to go onto like people's Instagrams and start just talking shit. But like half the time, if you go and like look at these people's profiles, they're talking shit, like they don't skate either. They don't know anything about skate. They're just on there to talk shit. You know, they're not even like involved in this whole like realm of skateboarding. Yeah. Half of them, you know.
It must be weird if you're like a kid now though, because if you remember like how to heart you take things when you're like a teenager, it's kind of good being an adult looking down on it. Yeah.
I don't think I would survive.
I don't think any of us would have made it if that was around back then. I'd have quit like 20 years ago.
Yeah, no, it would. I can't imagine being a kid now and like even like I don't know, being a kid or a teenager or something and putting something up. Like I think if you guys or people our age put something up and like a troll or a hate or whatever comes onto it and they're like meh, but like if you're like like 13 years old, like trying your best, you've just done a trick that you love, you're so proud of it, and somebody was like, that was shite, or that's not how you do that. Like, it's just like at that age, like you would take that a hell of a lot more personally than you would as an adult.
Right. And see, that's why, like, in friend groups where we, you know, it's acceptable to talk shit on each other, because sometimes you need that, you know. Sometimes I want to be hated on, you know.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun. That's why I need friends that can hate on me, and then I know that it's not, like, personal.
No,
That's why I've never liked you.
That's why I've always loved you. Since we were kids, we grew up skating together. You know this? I'm actually from Aberdeen.
No, we always need things like that. Like when we always do the same trick every time, one of us always turns around to each other and goes, you keep doing that. You need to film something different this time.
Yeah,
we
it's
always
true.
have to do that. Shug always does that to me.
Someone needs to do that to Shug.
No, it's a good thing you pointed out about like your friends and having like skateboarding friends within groups. And there's like, is there a difference between when you have that and when it's a clique? Like, I know, and this is just all in my head, as I've said throughout this whole process of this podcast, is when I started again, and at the start of the lockdown, I had just moved to a new town. I didn't know a soul in that town, not one soul. And there was a skate park just down the road. Sometimes we would drive down and I would be like, I'm going to go on tonight. Like, I'm going to go on tonight. And then other times I'd be like I'm just, no, I can't do it. And that came from seeing the same people, like the same, they're like a friendship group, like the same people there. And I was like, they're going to like not accept me. Like, I am completely the outsider there. And then a lot of that is in my head where I'm thinking they're going to be like that. And they're going to be like, who are you? Like, where do you come from? Like, you're not coming in. Do you think, and I know I don't want to generalize, I've made that my thing since the start of this, but do you think there is a culture of skateboarders that are like that, where it's this group, or they've named the group and it's just like,
Yes, there is.
Police line, do not cross.
I think those people were like that before they were skateboarders.
Yeah, we're actually like
Yeah,
that.
it's what you've said, like they're just bringing it into
that's what they
skateboarding.
were already like, so that's just what they're going to be like there.
Yeah.
We call ourselves the Metal Coats. That's our group name. And
Is this a thing, or is this the first time you've heard this?
This is the first one.
I'm just kidding. No, but
It's from the younger days, you know, Aberdeen
back in the
days.
day. No, we.
Oh,
Yeah. No, there's definitely cool guys in skateboarding, but I have to say, because I'm like brand new here, if you're coming to Glasgow and you need people to skate with, you just go on Instagram and you DM Cash. That's what I did right when I got here. I was told that Cash was the person to talk to. He's the ringleader of all the skateboarders in Glasgow.
And you were told that by a stranger.
I was told that by a stranger. I hit up Cash,
and now you're on a podcast.
And now I'm on a podcast. He organized everything. I went to the loading bay and he sent some of his goons out to meet me before I even met him. So if you need
Like,
friends,
how
that's
nice is
actually
that,
true.
though? Oh no, he told me in the pub before we came here. I was like, that is so fucking nice.
I know. So you hit up Cash.
Days.
Yeah.
No, but that is
It is,
genuinely,
yeah.
like, that is the opposite of gatekeeping. That is the fucking opposite.
That's leaving
of
the
it.
door open. Anybody gets in.
Jesus, Cash.
I do all these things because of my own experiences when I first started skateboarding.
Yeah.
So when I first got skateboard, like I said earlier, I didn't know anyone else that skated, and I grew up in a very racist place. So when I went past the skate park, everyone in the skate park looked like people that were going to be racist to me if I went there. So I used to wait until it was dark and they all went home, and I used to teach myself how to skate in the dark when they were gone.
Like, part of me wants to say, like, I hate to hear that like you felt like that, but the other part of me says, like, I love to hear that. Do you know what I mean when I?
No,
like,
completely. I think so many people feel like this, but they never share it,
Yeah.
and then that makes people feel alone. So everyone should share when they've had these experiences.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, it's the same with me. Like, it wasn't race; it was just, I guess, sexuality. Like, I just like grew up in a time where like the F word and the P word were just flung about all the time, and it did. Like, I can hear those words today, and I'm just like I've been called it 100, 1,000 times. Like, I went through like 6 years of high school with it. Like, it doesn't really matter. But getting into something new, it was just always the fear of like going to the skate park and like, are those the same guys from school?
Yeah.
You know, like, are they just going to drop one? Because see if they drop that. See, to be honest, at this point in my life, see if I heard like someone said that aggressive to me, like I think like there's that 90% of me that would just be like, whatever, and I would probably go home. But then there's that other like 10% where like I don't think I've ever hit anyone in my life, but I literally at this point, I would like, I'm not fucking hearing this at this point in my life, like. But no, that was so nice to hear. No, genuinely. So, what have you guys got coming up for the rest of the year, 2022? Still a bit to go. Anything you want to plug? Anything coming out?
Ross will have a new part out. Once this podcast is out, it will already be out, the part. And a full-length video I will put out. And some other videos will be out as well.
Whoa, he said it in public.
I've said it.
That's putting you on a timeline there, bud.
Yeah, I've said it on this now. So before I got here, I thought to myself, should I say this? And then I thought, I will say it so that I have to do it.
So
there you go.
The expectations
I love
there.
that.
No, is the guarantee there? I'm kidding on, I won't do that. That's
He's
too
going to
much.
sign some paper after this.
Cut.
Right.
And in regards to the gatekeeping as well, when you were saying about hearing the term seems to be newer in skateboarding, but I'd already heard that term outside of skateboarding.
Yeah, the first
So-
time I heard it was outside of it.
I think that a lot of issues in skateboarding, when people talk about them, they're talking about their own experience in skateboarding. But it doesn't mean that anyone else like them has had the same experience as them. But that doesn't invalidate anyone's experience.
Right.
I love it.
Yeah, we all do.
Perfect.
So at this point in the show as well, this is our song of the day part. Don't worry, I'm not going to ask you to sing. Each episode, we're asking all of our guests to pick one song, a song that they either like to skate to, that reminds them of skating at a certain time, just one song. And these are all getting added to the Bored to Death Spotify playlist for everyone to listen to when the show comes out. So by the time you are listening to this, you guys can already go on to Spotify and look at this perfectly curated playlist. So Brandon, any song, any artist that's your pick.
That I like to skate to, or that just gets me
Remind you
hyped.
of a certain time of skating, or just
Lately, sometimes I've been into like Cities in the Dust by Susie and the Banshees. I like to skate to that sometimes.
cool.
The Hippie Boys, Dreams to Remember. I love the Hippie Boys. I've used a lot of their music in videos that I've put out, and I will use more of it.
Amazing.
I don't really skate to music. It's too much. But when I did, I would like rinse the Animal Collective album, the one from Minefield.
Yeah.
What's the album called?
My Girl. It's
Yeah, My Girls is the song.
My Girls is the song.
Yeah.
The song is My Girls.
Yeah, by Animal
Yeah.
Collective.
Cool.
That's a good skate tune.
Mine this week. You know, like I know this question's going to come up. I should think about this all week, and it gets to this point, and I'm just
Is this where you drop Avril Lavigne?
no.
She's already
like,
dropped it.
she's not appeared yet. She will appear, but she won't. I'm making it my thing not to. I'm going to pick actually Take a Look Around by Limp Bizkit, because I got tickets to Limp Bizkit this week and I have
Amazing.
wanted them for years. And I
Amazing.
finally got them this week. I'm going all the way to London and I'm going to live my best life.
Have you got a red
That's what it's
cap?
about.
You got your red cap ready packed?
White tee.
Oh no, it's like literally like the red Limp Bizkit Fred Durst hat
Amazing.
from like 2003. That is the time to put that on and rock the fuck
Oh
out.
my.
You're going to win the trend just looking like Fred Durst all the way.
I know, I do my usual, like I buy 2 tickets to a gig and then like forget about it, and then it's like 2 weeks and I'm like, shit, I've got this gig, does anyone want to come with me? I do it all the time, except this one's in London, so like whoever's going to come with me, like he can just come with me.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's us for another week, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm going to drop these guys' Instagram handles in the description. You can find them on Instagram, but until next week, that's us. See ya.
Bye.
Adios.